the Talking Hawks. We connect the Hawthorn fans from around the world. We share the passion, discuss football with intelligence, and we share some laughs and we support the mighty Hawks. Welcome, Chris and Matt, to the show. How are you, boys?
I'm great,
Awesome.
Brad.
Awesome,
Despite the loss, there was a few good signs there.
Boys, I was happy. I was happy with that game. I was happy with what we did. My Richmond mate asked me how much, who was going to win by how much, and I said Richmond by 30 plus, and we lost by 29, so we did better than what I thought.
Brooks tuned in from where you were, Bradley.
Where I was, yes.
Over in the West.
Brookie, welcome, Brooke. Yeah. It's a tough crowd. It's tough over in the West, mate.
Sorry, mate.
G'day from Mildura. Go, Nigel. Yeah, boys, it's I got to tell you, I lived in the West for about 6 or 7 years, and it was tough being a Hawk supporter over there. Now, the West Coast has won a few premierships, but we seem to have stopped 2 or 3 of them on their behalf. So they don't particularly like Hawthorn supporters.
Yep, I betcha.
Yeah, they're a savage bunch. So it's, mate, you're doing it tough over there, Brooke, but well done to you.
We sent them one of the sons. Sammy went there, said go to Simo.
Yep.
Under the tutelage of the master, and back again, Sammy.
And then he got the hell out of there.
Yeah.
Family issues, sure.
Yeah. I'm getting to Adelaide this weekend. I've got the fingers crossed. I might be able to bump into a much-loved former Hawk player, but I'll keep that under wraps until we'll see how we go.
Now, who do you guys know that's from Adelaide that plays for Hawthorn?
Good question.
I wonder who that could be.
Interesting.
Hey, you're just going to pop on over there, are you, Matty?
Some just working things out. So I know someone's got a pub over there who was a bit of a legend in the 80s. But anyway, we'll do the round and see what we come up with.
Yeah. Well, welcome, guys. G'day, Ben from Adelaide. Nice to have you here, mate. That's a tough place to be as well. So, like we said, we're trying to join Hawks fans from around the world, and Adelaide is from another world, that's for sure. I still don't think they've forgiven us for taking the Grand Prix off them, but that's okay.
Definitely not.
Yeah. Jake Smith, welcome, mate. Welcome. Thanks for joining us as well. Tyler Smith, good to have you here, fella. Santino, what a name, mate. Love that name.
Santino.
The Santino.
My man.
Get around him.
All right.
Mate,
so what have we got on tonight, Brad?
Mate, we're gonna cover the loss, but also the things that we liked out of it and things that we didn't like so much. We're going to touch a bit on Box Hill and also the injury list, fellas. So we've got some concerns here in the medico room at the moment. Matt's got an inside scoop for us that he has from a very reliable source who we can't name as well. So, and that's about our boy Will Day. So stick around for that. If it's your first time here, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Welcome those who've joined us. Also, smash that like button for us. And if you're on Facebook, tag a mate who's a Hawthorn supporter and tell them to get on here now. They should be here.
What are they doing? What are they doing? So this is the last night we can live stream on Twitter. So get across to YouTube, subscribe there, and join the banter. So we love to keep the conversation going. But hey, let's rip in, boys. So Tigers Hawks.
Yeah.
What do you got? What did you like?
Before we dig in, I'd love to hear from the fans, the followers. What did you guys love about the game? We'll start with the positives, and then we'll move through to some not so positive stuff, eh? But boys, Will Day, outstanding, and I was gutted that he went off injured. So bloody good. And my hero for the game was the young bloke, the new young bloke who's our leading goal kicker.
Yeah, how good is it? How good is it? Tyler.
CJ.
No, not CJ, mate. I've forgotten his name.
Tyler Brockman.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Very good. Very good.
What a champion.
I think.
All right. What do you reckon? slow out of the blocks, guys. Richmond just got out of the blocks real quick, and it made it hard to catch up. I think after that, it was almost goal for the rest of the game.
Yeah, I think we matched them with intensity. It was just polish that we lacked. That was it.
Yeah.
In my books, we disrupted their game. Like Clarko said in the post-game presser, we completely disrupted their game, so they couldn't play how they naturally play. And with our intensity, we matched them, but we just couldn't finish it off in the forward line. So I don't know, guys. Our back line to me was pretty solid. Like they didn't score 100 points, so we just couldn't convert in our inside 50s. We had just as many inside 50s as them, and we just didn't convert. So
yep, go on.
That's it.
Yeah,
I don't think
we had the Craig McRae, Richmond IP, and in Clarko's press, he touched on believing we disrupted Richmond's waves of handball. They normally just surge in waves, and that was nice. And it got me to thinking after pondering that, it's like we have the ball. They've designed these rules so that the ball moves so quickly. You have to be defending, but then also be able to attack almost in the next breath. And then how do you cover that? So the structures are really interesting. I think Richmond's 4 years of being at this, they were. We can talk about our decision-making and execution, which Clarko did touch on too, but their pressure, there was just split-second decision-making by all of their defenders, and I would say up the ground as well. If you got the ball, you didn't have 2 seconds to think about what you were going to do. You needed to make a decision and go because their defenders had already anticipated and were hitting, that player as the ball got there. And then somebody was already covering for the man that they just left. So it's a machine that Richmond's built, and credit to them. So the fact that we ended up that close when many are writing us off for this year, it's a really good tick for us.
Absolutely. Yeah, and here's the thing, guys. Like last season, we played them round 2 and we beat them convincingly, right? And it was like, I think we just got them on the hop. We wanted it. We wanted to beat them and knock them over. And whereas this year, we've just gone into it with we're rebuilding. We've got a new crop, and we want to just see how we go against these guys. And I really do think Richmond came out and said, we want to beat the Hawks. We don't want the same thing to happen as last year. And I do believe they brought their best against us. And they brought their best, and we matched them, but we didn't match them in the scoreboard. So this is what I'm excited about, fellas. Is I'm glad we lost. I'm glad we lost because if we'd have won, we might have been kidding ourselves about where we sat as a team for the year. And if we go to play them again, then Richmond will turn around and just knock us over. But this year, it's sort of like Richmond will be the hunted if we meet them again. So that's what I'm excited about.
Yeah,
interesting. I just felt, even though you're giving them credit for the defensive pressure, I just feel that I think we were giving a lot of hospital handballs instead of kicking. And the fact that a lot of our scores come from unpredictable forward entries, I think kicking would have been the better option. But yeah, we'll never know.
That said, it was a lot of rushed onto the boots and our inside 50. I think I was grappling with this because there was long balls into the 50, and it's like you're trying to move the ball faster than they can run, but it wasn't necessarily to the advantage of someone, coming, presenting. It was just get it on that boot and go. So I don't know, there's a little bit more tinkering to do with how we present, but yeah, that's probably the standard of the competition, isn't it? You're not going to get much more time to think when you're playing Richmond. It's other teams like the Hoops. Let's hope this week we can use some of that. We've got a lot of young guys that are facing that sort of pressure for the first time.
They're standing up. They're absolutely standing up. Love
little
it.
Things like Brockman in that first quarter, he took a great overhead mark. He was behind. He was about 47 out, but he handballed it to Mitchell. And it's just like, go back, have a shot. And maybe that was his distance. And I don't know his kicking length well enough at this point in time. But, it's little things like that. Just players will learn. I saw Impey another time. It's like went for It was half forward, flank. Didn't quite put the head over the ball. Just sort of reached in, tried to spin out. He just needed to commit his body. And, so it's some of those acts that we do. Like CJ is just like a giant out there at the moment. He's just scary for an opposition player if he's on your hand.
Boys, the future looks bright with CJ, man.
When the opposition coach says in the presser that he's good, he's good.
Oh, mate, I'm just excited anytime he gets near the ball. Last season or season before, it was that ex-Melbourne player. What's his name? Sorry. Our defender, Frosty. He was just exciting anytime he got the ball. And he's living up to it. He hasn't let off Frosty, right? And now we've got CJ down there as well. But Frosty just takes it on, runs it out of the back line, and he's bloody exciting. And now we've got CJ. He's so athletic. If his skill can match his athleticism, boy, he's going to be incredible. You get 50 games into that kid, he is going to be an absolute superstar, in my opinion.
I'd love to see them side by side. Frosty bolts, CJ kicks it to Frosty, bang inside 50, and vice versa. CJ bolts, Frosty over to CJ inside 50.
Oh, mate, it's loving it, absolutely loving it. Now, boys,
hold on. Frost did some really good things behind the ball, I think, helping. So Hardigan on Lynch didn't mind it. That's what you expect. But Frosty actually did a lot of help, and his anticipation, I think his voice and setting things up, we've really scored well with him. Did dig out. We mentioned last week. I was on a podcast with Lace Out, so we're converting that into a video. So it's the season preview, albeit it's a little bit late into the season, but. He talked about the podcast Peps about Frosty when he was playing for the D's, just latched onto this massive torp. So I had to dig it out. It's a bit glorious to watch, I tell you. I wouldn't mind seeing a few of those. Nearly centre square. Anyway.
Were you just name dropping then, Matt, that you're going to be on another podcast? Is that what you were doing just then?
Oh, maybe, but it's already happened.
Talking yourself up. Jeez. All right. Fair enough.
Well, some fans might not have watched last week. So...
No, I just happened to be on this podcast, if I don't mind.
The wobble. I'm glad to introduce it for 2021. That's the first official wobble, I think.
Fair enough. All right, boys, should we talk about the elephant in the room?
Is it touching on this point here that Emma's got? Because I think that's the
elephant in the room, Emma. We're meant to have two elite midfielders. And I'm sorry, boys, I'm a bit disappointed. I don't want to say frustrated. I'd say disappointed because something's not working. It's just not working. And Tom Mitchell, I love him. And I'm still a fan of Tom Mitchell, but something's not working, guys. And I actually think Warple got, 16 touches for the whole game. And then Jeka, to me, I'd say is the biggest disappointment. So, because... For some reason, I think he's got the most potential, but I don't know, it's just disappointing. And you've lost my camera.
Yep. Brad's gone off camera to wobble because he's loving his little run up there. So while he's working himself out, he's in the powder room. But I think it was a 50th game for Warble. Congrats, mate. I think as a young player now in the leadership team, there might be maybe there's a little bit of pressure and knowing their role, what we see and expect versus what the role that they're playing. I think that's a little bit of the mystery with the Jeka bomb, Warps and Titch. And I think I defend Jeka. I'm pretty happy, albeit I might cop it for that. But
what are you happy about, though, Matt?
He tries his heart out every week. He's pretty solid with 20-odd touches. What more do you want? He's not dusty. You want him to be dusty.
I do.
That's what you want, isn't
it? I do. Look, the disappointment's only here because I've got a gap in my expectation, right? And for whatever reason, my experience with him is that he's the next Dusty, or he's going to be like Dusty, and he's just not living up to it.
Mate, degenerative knees. You got a glimpse of the new Dusty, and his name begins with C and ends with J, and he Dusty. So
Don't argue.
how
good was it? Don't argue.
Let's roll him through the midfield, shall we?
Come on, where's the hearts for that? Don't argue. That was brilliant. And then he took off, and Dusty just always was like, "Nah, I'm not going to chase that." Go on. But I think Jeka goes and gets the ball when he needs to get it, and I think that's sometimes his role, and sometimes he's the outlet. And his kicking isn't, it's not too bad. I think he makes generally sensible decisions and
he does
handles someone on him, like pushes them off. Mitchell, if we're being really critical, doesn't do as much. You talked about hospital balls, Chris. I reckon, there's probably a few coming from Mitchell because he's right in the heat and he's just getting it out. So
yeah, there's been a lot of heat on Mitchell over the metres gained, right? I think he got 300 metres gained. No, not even that. For the game, it averaged like 4 metres per possession, right? Yeah. And it's kind of like, well, if you think about it, the guy's bloody extracting the ball for us. He's getting that first touch for us. Whoever's getting first touch is not getting, booting the bloody thing 30 metres. He's getting it out to a bloke who's near him. So he's pretty good. Look, the midfield has been okay, but we don't have this star power midfield, which if we want to get there, we have to do something about this midfield.
Yeah,
definitely. Do we need a star powered midfield? It was Hodge, Sewell, Lewis, Mitchell, and Clarko said, guys, if you can play it, but we need more people running through there. And that's when we diversified and we had Poppy and Cyril and Burgers and the depth, our ability to outrun and outperform and flexibility with matchups and all of that. I think Clark has got a bit of that in the back of his.
Well, all due respect, Matt, but you've just contradicted yourself, Matt.
No. Although I did hear the stats. I think Clarko ran 11 of our players through the midfield for centre bounces, and Tigers only ran 8 players. So,
right. But let me explain the contradiction.
That's half our side running through the midfield for centre bounces.
Yeah, let me explain the contradiction. Right? You said, do we need superstars? And then you rattled off like 6 superstars.
And then we would...
Yeah, we lost them.
Removing the reliance on superstars. So I'm saying, to Emma's point, I don't know that we need an elite midfielder. You've got some in the mix. We just got to work out the combinations. I loved when Breust would run through the middle of it. You chuck Buddy and Roughhead in. We did some crazy things. I think I don't know that we need another one. We need to work out how to use what we've got.
Matt, we did those crazy things 2016 onwards.
No, Ruffy was before he went down. He was a regular.
No. Not in 16, not in 15. He wasn't a regular in the midfield in 16.
Fans,
in 15.
Back me up. Tell me if I'm wrong. Tell Brad if he's wrong.
Yeah, right. He wasn't a regular in 13, 14, 15. So we had Poppy, Burgers, Breust, and Rioli, and Hodge, Burgoyne. Those guys went through the midfield, but they're all superstars in their own rights. So they're
not all superstars.
Hey, come on. If you're a 3-time premiership player, mate, you're a superstar in my book.
Yeah.
And I just rattled them all off.
So go on. Meters gained. Let's compare the current day Mitchell. Have you got anything? Have you looking back in the almanac?
Sure. All right. So who do you want to look at? Tom Mitchell? Yeah. Meters gained?
Yes. Let's talk about Brownlow medalist Tom Mitchell. What is he doing currently?
All right. Brownlow medalist Tom Mitchell, 2018, wasn't it?
Sure. Yep. That sounds right.
Is that when he won it? Okay. Meters gained, average 436 meters. Right now, he's averaging 261.
Yeah.
This season.
I think that's too many handballs.
Last season was 291.
All right.
So, but look, he's come off a broken leg. Yep. He's got an excuse. But come on. Let's start.
That's 2 years ago.
Yeah,
2 years ago.
Yeah. I'm not making excuses, but that is an excuse. I think maybe who knows? Who knows what his mobility's like? Maybe he's struggling.
I don't know. I don't know. Look, I don't mind that he extracts it.
Oh,
but then,
I'd like to know kilometres run after those stats. We'll have to look that one up. See if we can go see how his chart's running on the kilometres he's running on that leg.
Yeah. Look, if we go back to Sam Mitchell, they only started recording meters gained from 2015, right? So 2015, Sam Mitchell 409 meters, 16 was 437, 17 was 329. So and he obviously started to get a pretty big drop off for us after that. And
I've got to remember.
that was with the Eagles.
Sammy was a pretty big handballer himself, so they're still pretty good meters gained.
Amazing numbers.
All right, so let's go back to the game briefly. So, how was he a thumbs up or a thumbs down for you guys, fans?
Thumbs up for me. He's playing above my expected level for him. So yeah. Not definitely in every week, but I think he's still got a role to play for us.
Yeah, look, I think he was all right. He's a good journeyman, Hal, and I don't know if he's ever going to be more than that. But I think he's a solid player. I don't think he'll ever be a game winner for us. So he just played his role.
Question is he holding back someone else's development?
I think he is.
Yeah,
I think.
But so is Sean Burgoyne.
Yeah, but they both can play a lot of roles. That we didn't touch on that one yet. Burgers on Dusty.
I think that might have been a bit of one of the left field decisions made to just trump the Tigers' game plan. They would have never picked that. I didn't pick it. Did you pick it?
No. But geez, how good was he? How good was Burgoyne?
He did all right because I don't think anyone else would have done much better. Not bad for a 38-year-old.
I think he played off him a little bit and was just trying to read where he's going to run, and he's such a good reader of what's happening around in Burgoyne. It probably, whilst you're not always going to, it's minimising the impact, isn't it? And I didn't mind it left field, keeping them guessing, and I think Shields was playing a bit of a role there too. So Shields again, quiet, Hardwick, very good. So anything else?
Career high. Yep, Hardwick career high, wasn't it? I think 31. I think his best before that was mid to low 20s. So that's a pretty outstanding personal best there.
Hardwick just reminds me of Hodge. Absolutely reminds me of Hodge.
He's potentially leading our best and fairest right now.
Yeah. I'm shocked he's not captain this year, but it's I don't know. He could be captain. He's just like another Hodge. He's brilliant.
Yeah, I was going to say Hodge 2.0.
Yeah, and he kicks better than Hodge.
No, he's got another job, Hardwick. He's trimming the grass. He's just doing them that flat and fast at the G. It's just they're lightning. So part-time lawnmower at the MCG curator.
Look, guys, if you hark back with me, the one thing that bothered me about Hodge is he just always threw it on the boot. So he just always threw it on the boot. So and whereas Hardwick, he's nice, clean, and precise out of the back line. I love it.
Right. Yeah, but Hodgie had he just crashed a pack and he had one bloke hanging off his leg and then he puts it on the boat. Like, come on, you can't have it.
Anyway. Guys, come on, don't take it personally. It was just a little bugbear I had when I watched.
Oh, you bring that up when we get Hodgie on the show, all right? So,
all right,
very good. So, all right, we'll put this one to bed. Then we're done. Timmy O, Tools, take a mark, boys.
Look, Timo, it's the best season I've seen him play. It's only been 2 games though, so don't get too carried away yet. But he's playing a role. He's bringing it to ground. He's crashing the packs. Be nice if he held a few, and he's kicking some goals. So,
yeah, there has been plenty of critics on the socials, and like you said, he's doing his job. But it would be nice to see him hold a few more. But where do you go?
Well, the way that Lewis is going, it's sort of like Lewis is knocking on the door.
Yeah, I think Lewis is two really good games in the VFL. I think he's in.
Thanks,
but
Jake.
it was discussed, will we potentially play 3 talls?
All right, the fans are killing me over Luke Hodge. I apologise. I love Luke Hodge. He's my favourite. All right, it was just a little thing. All I was saying was that he kicks better than Luke Hodge did. That's all.
That's you,
and
Brad.
he's like Luke Hodge. All right. I'm sorry. Okay, forgive me.
Jeez, record that. Brad just said sorry. That doesn't happen very often.
All right, it won't happen too often. All right, just take it. Yeah.
All right, boys. So what do we got, Brad? Good overall. Good outcome. I think we've put on a decent show against the Tigers and probably outperformed than what the competition might have expected. So kept up with him. It was goal for goal for nearly 12 goals, wasn't it? I think that's a good note to finish.
Yeah. Look, it was positive. Look, boys, I'm curious. Do you think that it's it's the method of entry into our forward 50 or the quality of entry into our forward 50, which would be the midfield, or do you think it's our forward line, which is letting us down at the moment?
Oh, it's a combination, but I think when we've moved the ball quick from a turnover and got it in there quickly, that's been our best success. It's when we're bringing it in slower and we're not giving as like Richmond's ball inside their 50. It was just spot on. Every time they hit up a player, it was just so clean. And yeah, that's what we're lacking.
Yeah. So it's midfield. It's quality of entry.
Yes, I'm going to say yes. But that's the half forwards bringing the ball in too. And sometimes the backmen bringing a kick inside 50. It's not just the midfield. Yeah.
Yeah. Will Koschitzke, he loves Cousins, doesn't he? Hey?
He does.
He does. It's Cousins will be Prime Minister soon if Will has his way. Look, boys, what do you think about Cousins?
He was good last year, at the end of last year, and I'm surprised he hasn't seen a game this year. But look, he's not far away, so he may be an emergency on the weekend, or he might get a game. We'll see what happens.
I think these young blokes are knocking on the door too, which we'll get to that shortly. So, all right. Box Hill Tigers, quick touch around. We'll go around the ground there. Box Hill, very, very admirable game. 12-6 in the end, 78 to 12 goals, 16-88. Lewis, 4 goals, Nash and Jeka 2, and a number of one goal kicking players. So 13 AFL listed Hawks playing in that game. And we got to see Downey get the boots on, which was nice.
How did Downey go, Matt?
The Box Hill report, I didn't get to the ground. I think he was good, but I didn't get to see any stats or any details on him in particular. So sorry, guys. Shout out if you got anything. But I know also recruit Lockie Bramble did. He was bobbing up. Connor Nash, he's 2 goals early. I think that gave us a bit of a kickstart. So I think whilst there was a loss there, you've got some good chemistry building between the players that are on the Hawks list. Lewis obviously knocking at the door. Sam Mitchell usually does a bit of a rundown play-by-player from the VFL games as well. So looking forward to seeing that. I haven't caught that as yet. But I would say out of that mix, Dan is a chance to come in. Sadly, DGB, which we'll go into the injuries, come a cropper. And, so for mine, Downey and Lewis a chance to get a look into the senior side.
Here. So do you know how many touches Downey got? Did he do all right?
No, the stats were pretty woeful.
Go to the fans there. Yeah. You don't get much in a practice match. It's hard to get some stats there. But
it's good to see Lewis getting 4 goals.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And he kicked too late on our comeback charge. But at the end of the day, this is the Premiers, and this is their reserves team. So their reserves team, Richmond are very, very deep in talent. So the fact that our seconds are pushing them as well, it just means, like you said, 13 AFL listed players playing in the reserves, and we're really pushing it. So it's
I think we're in the mix, boys. I definitely think we're in the mix.
The Tigers had 15 listed players versus our 13 at the VFL level this game just gone. So yeah, so it was deep. You're right. So a good contest, and yeah, look, things are looking up. I think it was nice to see Scrimshaw get a look back in, and I'd expect him to retain that spot and probably be named for this week. But jumping ahead, so that's a quick wrap. We've got a little bit more on some of the injuries now. Did you get a look at that, Chris?
I have had a look at that. I'm trying to look at the sheet here, but I can't find. Oh, there we are.
So Chad Wingard.
So Chingard, Chad, where is it?
Chingard, jeez.
Chingard, yeah. Done a Billy Brownless.
Changa's back.
Changard, the new Changard. Yeah, we're expecting him back. So Keegan Brooksby, a couple of weeks away. Jack Gunston, still at 4 weeks. I thought he was 4 weeks ago.
No idea, mate. Keep going.
No, but all right.
DGB,
we've got a knee. Indefinite has been listed. I'm hearing that's just a bit of bone bruising, but no major structural there. So we're, who knows, 4 to 6 weeks maybe we're going to say on that one. Will Day, everyone, that's the one we want to know about. Hawthorn's listing it as indefinite again. I think there was rumours about surgeons being discussing how long that may be. So when that's being discussed, you know it's going to be long term. So that's over 6 weeks, definitely there, guys. I think
reliable source. So yeah, with that bruising in the knee with DGB, it's at the back, so it can be a little bit pesky, but it could be 4 weeks. We'll just have to see how his body recovers there. Will Day, talk of potentially a couple of pins there in that ankle, so probably 12. So anyway, you've heard it here first. But what do we got there, Fred? 4 weeks means season at Hawthorn. Oh.
Yes, it's frustrating.
Accurate
nice
stuff,
one, Fred.
Mate, I need the postman. Keep delivering the mail to us. Anyway, that's what we got from today from a good source. So let's cross fingers for DGB. Geez, I was hoping to get down to watch him at a VFL game very soon with some of you on the line, but
Chingard. Thanks, Peter. You got my back.
Right, Seamus Mitchell out with an ankle, and Sicily still ACL indefinite. So, boys, if Chad Wingard or Chingard's coming back, who's dropping out?
Well, hold on. But just before we go there, how good is the talent that's on the sidelines at the moment? Sicily, Wingard, like there's some serious.
Sorry. Yeah, I thought you meant other than the injury list. Sorry. Yeah, it's look. I look at that list and I think there's 5 of our top 10 players are out.
Yeah, pretty much.
Wingard, Gunston, Will Day, Sicily. Okay, so that's 4. Yeah, at least 4 of our top 10 are out. 4 of them. So
Chad will be a welcome addition.
Absolutely. So who's he replacing?
Look, there's a number of players. It's hard. Yeah, Hanrahan's been one of the players named. I think Moore's been too good to pull him out. Small forward. Well, Breust isn't losing his spot. So, yeah, Hanrahan's probably there maybe.
I'd say so. Who's replacing Day?
He's already in the side,
isn't he? Yeah.
Scrimshaw,
Sorry?
that's right.
Scrimshaw straight in.
Absolutely. I'm shocked he's starting out of the team, to be honest.
Although I would love Greaves in. I still think Greaves is almost in our best 22.
Yeah, I think you guys love Greaves because he's got red hair.
Maybe.
But, I think there's a bit of bias there, a bit of Viking bias.
We're not biased at all.
I think it's got something to do with it.
Have you watched one of his 3 games, Brad?
I watched the same games as you guys, and yeah, he was good. He was okay. He was all right. But, I just think the red hair was sort of doing something to the chemistry in the brain.
If he played a full season, he was going to win the Rising Star.
It took you back to the Pines days. There's a couple of bright red-headed boys running around smashing kids.
Down with Frankston, down with Durham. We're rocking with red. It's all good. It's all good.
All right. So Chad Wingard probably replaces Ollie, and Scrimshaw probably replaces Will Day. So I'd say that's pretty close to right there. So I guess we'll find out. But Downey, is he coming in? And if he is, who's he replacing?
Is it time for Burgoyne to have a seat and be medical sub?
Oh no, mate, because we're playing against the geriatrics of the AFL right now. So he'd probably be the youngest bloke against Geelong. So I think he'll do fine against Geelong.
I just wonder if
you didn't like my joke, did you? I thought it was a great joke. You guys,
move on.
If you like my joke, give us a like or a thumbs up, fellas. Thanks. Jeez,
well, you've gone for the red. You know, you've got your matching grey hat there, Brad, on your beard. So talking the geriatric, you get your pension card, go on down to GMHBA and have a look at them this week, will you?
Mate, they were recruiting me as soon as this grey hair was starting to come out. They gave me a tap on the shoulder. So,
and that's why you're growing your hair long, because you've got a bit of a Brad crush. Is that right, on the coach?
Hey, it's a Chris crush, by the way.
Sorry.
That's okay. But no, he's copying me. All right. He's watching the Talking Hawks.
Do we segue into Isaac? He's the next elephant in the room versus Geelong this week.
Well, let's talk about who's going to win, shall we?
He's the skinniest, fastest elephant I've ever seen. But and we do love his cheeky grin. But I loved Breusty coming out today saying, mate, game face, white line. Mate, if I get a chance, I'll take him out.
Yeah.
So there'll be no hugs, he said.
Wow. He does have one advantage. Isaac is quick, so our boys are going to have to be on the game to get him.
He's still quick. That's true. But he might do a hammy, boys. He's getting that old now. I just watch these players and I'm doing a hammy.
Did Isaac leave because he lost the time trial? CJ's going to take him out now, Chris. Don't worry about that. If he wants to be a cheeky forward and try and pinch a goal off a big who's it? Hawkins tap in the forward line. Don't worry, CJ. Bang.
So, hey, Louis, whilst we're talking about CJ, do you reckon he'd ever play in the midfield?
Yeah.
Yep.
Do you reckon he'll get there one day?
Yep. I think he'll be a rotation, definitely.
Could you imagine him in the midfield? Oh, man.
Could he be a superstar, Brad?
Hey?
Could he be a superstar in your book?
Absolutely. Didn't I say that earlier in the show?
I think he's more potential to be a wingman than a midfielder, but I just think, potentially running through the midfield and on a wing on a permanent basis. I think he's more. Although those intercept marks are really handy down back.
Yeah, but how many backmen do we have?
Isaac, one last question. Tom Phillips. I was expecting. I know he talked preseason about gaining. He wanted a little bit more fitness. I've liked what I've seen, but I must admit personally, I had the bar up a little bit higher for him at this point. I thought he might have come out of the gates a little bit faster. But
are you serious?
Yep, he's motoring along, but Isaac gave us a little bit more. At this point,
all right. I'm happy. I'm really happy with what I've seen from Tom Phillips.
My last comment for Isaac. I watched most of the Geelong game, and I didn't hurt that much watching him. I was okay with it, but what hurt was watching him sing the Geelong song.
Yeah,
that cut deep. So anyway, I wish him the best of luck.
All right, who's going to win and by how much? Put it down in your comments in the comments section. Who you think who's going to win this week and the margin which they will win by. I'm going to go Hawks by 24 points. That's my prediction. So I think the boys are going to come out. They're going to see Isaac in the hoops, and they're going to want to show him why he should not have left, regardless of how much they were throwing at him. That's what I think. Clarko will use that because he's the master coach.
You want to have a go, Matty, or you want me to go?
Mate, go. You go. I'm just enjoying some of these comments.
All right, let's go somewhere in that middle margin of about 13 points.
13.
Yep.
All right. Yeah.
24-13. Where are you?
I'm going to go the Hawks by 15 down at GMHBA. You can stick that one up your jumper, hoop boy.
No, we're playing
MCG, mate.
MCC,
Oh, is it?
mate.
Oh, it's been moved. Yes,
Jesus.
you're right.
Mate,
No,
that was
it's-
just exceptional existential circumstances that we had to play there. Exigent, circumstances that we played there. And it was we're never going back there again unless Armageddon tries to happen again. There's no way we are playing at that toilet hole of a place ever again. It's not happening.
Good lighting at the toilet hole.
Good for them. Very happy for them. But no, our beautiful, glorious Hawks will never be playing there again unless there's a potential Armageddon. That's it.
I've watched one game there, and we were massive underdogs, and we beat them. It was great.
All right, Chris Moss, what have you got? All going with the heart, yes?
I think so.
Yeah. Well, Chris, tell us who's going to win, mate. I think he's having a crack at us, saying we're all going with our heart. Is that what he's saying?
I'm getting absolutely stitched up here with the comment. So sorry, guys. I'll bone up there.
That's a bit embarrassing, Matt. Come on.
Anyway.
Jeez.
Well, Geelong getting knocked off by Adelaide round 1, that was a pretty dismal effort. So, and yeah, close game with Brisbane, and lucky they should have lost it. They should be 2-0, Geelong.
What a different team it will be.
I give us every chance.
No, I think that's why we will win, is because they didn't deserve to. So if they'd have lost last week, they'd have come out hard this week against us. Not that they're not going to; they're always tough games, but it's like they have more to play for, because it's like they don't want to go down 3-0 after being in the grand final last year. I don't think they want to start the year 3-0. So, sorry, 0-3.
Mossa. Look at this.
What did Mossa say?
Get out of here.
Geelong by 12.
Oof. I'm going to CJ you. All right. All right, guys. Well, let us know in the after this. We get a whole lot of detail into the YouTube description, so we feel like that's a better platform for it to be a bit more information rich for you to keep commenting. So get yourself a YouTube account. Subscribe to Talking Hawks. There's going to be a few more things that we add there as a first place rather than a live stream. I do love this, Glennie. Thank you. Yes, and finally, one big thank you to those that have been sponsoring Denver. With him going down, we do really want to keep supporting the young man. We have a few sponsors that join us regularly that have checked in. So thank you to you for donating to Denver. We're going to look to wrap this up in the next 2 weeks. So we are Talking Hawks sponsoring Denver. Get on the DGB train. It is stopping all stations. He is powering ahead. Let's cheer him on through the recovery and give him a bit of a perk up. We'll get something going at the ground, maybe at a VFL game if that's where he comes back in first. But join us through talkinghawks.com if you're keen to sponsor Denver. $25 or more would help. So great show, boys. Got a lot to talk about this season. I think we're probably surprising a few.
Yes, definitely. And wouldn't surprise me if we are, winning more than we lose. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
That'll put us firmly in the 8th, fellas, which is where I predicted the start of the season. Yeah. Hey, what can I say? I'm usually right.
Love it.
Sorry, Mac Hawk, he's just jumped on, but mate, I think he comes in from the US of A. So thank you, Mac. But good night, guys. We'll catch up with you post the Geelong game with a bit of emotion, and we'll be hopefully tails up, giving it to
all right, boys. Thanks a lot for joining us, and have a good evening. And remember, go Hawks.
Oh.